Hi, friends. Good morning. Is anybody going to jump on? I'll give you a couple minutes just in case someone decides to. Otherwise, I'll move on. You can catch it later if you want. Aurelia and Matt and I are just trying to offer presence as best we can in this moment of crisis. So coming up with all the creative ideas and using all the resources at our disposal, and Facebook Live is one of them. I'm also going to do a little vid on my phone just in case Aurelia decides she wants to put it on Instagram. Oops, wrong way. I have like this. I'm just setting my phone up on top of my computer. It's not very professional. Matthew's here. All right. Well, just real quick, we wanted to offer a moment of devotion, a moment of presence together with one another. I have a cup of coffee here. Here it is. An actual cup of coffee. Okay, I'm recording so that you can put it on Instagram later. Do you have coffee? Jana, do you have coffee? If so, take a selfie. If you have a cup of coffee and you're sitting at your computer, take a selfie of yourself. Yeah, roll call. We try to buy locally roasted coffee. So my coffee is Ruta Maya, primarily a mix of calf and decaf. We took it down to 50-50 a while back. And it has Oatly. No, not Oatly. Oat milk creamer, whatever the brand is, Califia or something. Because I'm plant-based, so I choose oat. That's my favorite. Matthew hasn't had coffee in 8 days. I mean, you can make your decisions if you want to. Hi, Russell. Oh, reheated Keurig coffee. Again, you can make your decisions. Way to go. Just before I start, I wanted to say, if you need some inspiration, I'm trying to get some reading done this week while things are just more quiet and we don't have places to go and people to see, except for this way. So here's what's on my nightstand for the week. I have Karen Gonzalez, The God Who Sees. That's what I'm going to tackle. I'm already a little over halfway through Nadia Bolz-Weber's Shameless, A Sexual Reformation. And then I'm also wanting to read, this has been on my list for a while. I've had it on hold at the library. This is The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. And I heard him do an interview on NPR with Krista Tippett. And I was blown away by his wisdom regarding trauma and how trauma lodges itself in the body. And so I've been wanting to read this for a bit and just had it on hold at the library, and it finally came up for me. So these are 3 that I'm going to try to tackle here in the next week or 2. What you reading? Anybody reading anything? You can tell me later. Oh, I can see more here. Hey, so here's what I want to share this morning. I am one of the people who's been watching this come down the pike, this coronavirus crisis, this impending pandemic for a while, probably since like early February when it was first kind of called to my attention. So I've been reading the news about it and feeling a sense of inevitability, even though I'm not an expert, but I've been trying to read all the experts. So I've had a little bit more time to come to an idea of what might be a silver lining, more so than maybe people who haven't been following this story for as long as I have. So I wonder if that might be helpful for you, that I do see, even though I've read literally every article that I can get my hands on in the last 6 weeks, I do see silver linings in what is happening here. And so that I just thought that I would share them with you in an effort to help us all tune into appreciation, tune into gratitude, tune into hope, even though this is for sure the the most profound, the largest public health crisis of my lifetime for sure, but I even think the generation before me, I think my parents' lifetime also, I think it's their most profound public health crisis that any of us have experienced. So I say silver linings. By no means, my goal is not to minimize what's happening. I absolutely think that we should take precautions, that we should stay home if we can, that we should encourage our friends and family to stay home, that we should follow the guidelines of all the medical professionals in CDC and go above and beyond because we're trying to be kind to the most vulnerable in our society. Okay, so I'm not trying to minimize, but I do want to tell you just a few things that I see that are what I could call a silver lining in all this. And it's a mixed bag. To talk about silver linings is a mixed bag. I totally realize that, but I'm doing it, and I'm doing it from a place of hope and from a place of trying to find gratitude. So the number one silver lining that I see, again, this is something that I'm pretty clued into, is environmental. Seriously, our CO2 production, with people commuting less, traveling less, is lowered. The pollution levels that we emit as a society are lowered, and hopefully that gives the earth and the environment and the planet a chance to recover a little bit while we are pushing pause on and pushing the brakes on our economy and production. So again, I acknowledge that that's really hard. Anytime apocalypse comes, it's really hard. And apocalypse only means a revealing. So this crisis is revealing, and that's another one of the silver linings that I see happening here. That is an opportunity for us to really take a look at how things are. What is our actual maturity level as a culture and as a society? And it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to look inward at our systems and our hierarchies and our exploitative economic policies and everything. We get this chance. We're forced to look deeply, to take a look in the mirror at who we are, and are our policies actually loving and helpful? So I see that as a silver lining. I see that as a positive, because we otherwise wouldn't be forced to do that. Another silver lining I see is the potential for rest. And I think a lot of people don't rest, and they don't realize how tired they are. And this is a forced rest for a segment of society that probably needs that. And I see that as a silver lining. And I view that with a degree of hope, even while I understand that this puts a lot of hardship, particularly on hourly wage earners, and particularly on healthcare workers and many other segments of society. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. The next silver lining that I see, I have notes here. I wrote down things. I see a silver lining in terms of a check on our ego and on our collective consumerism. I think this is a chance for us to say, what is important? What is it important for me to go out in the world and do? And what am I actually putting my money toward? And what am I actually putting my energy toward? And how am I actually interacting and engaging with the world? I see that as a silver lining. This one is perhaps the most profound to me, and this is the opportunity that we're getting to see on a very fundamental level, on a deeply, profoundly core level of humanity, how connected we are. We are one. Matthew and Aurelia and I preach this to you all the time. We preach oneness theology, we preach wholeness theology, that we are all connected, that we are all part of one body, that we are all cells in the body, and that we are inextricably connected to one another. And what one person does affects everyone else. And if one person is suffering, we are all suffering. And we're seeing this for the first time in our lives in a way that is deeper and more profound and more affecting us than any other way we've ever seen it. So we literally share microbes without knowing it. We share bacteria and viruses and other microbes without ever knowing it, even though we might not try to touch one another, even though anything. We are interconnected, and everything we do affects each other. And I guess the last silver lining that I see for us in this time of hardship, of grave, we should take this seriously, is that it's an opportunity for us to recalibrate the things that we put our faith in. So we begin to understand our fragility and our vulnerability in a new way. And many of us, without ever being conscious of it, we put our faith in the economy. We put our faith in the stock market. We put our faith in government. And what we're realizing is that the economy is fragile and the stock market is fragile and vulnerable literally to tiny microbes that we cannot see with our human eye. And I believe that recalibrating our own sense of vulnerability is a positive thing. I think we need that. I think we needed to do it already. And now we're being forced to realize that we're vulnerable and we're fragile and we're connected. And really, that's how we're supposed to be. That's how we're created to be. That's how humanity is inherently. If you have comments, leave us comments. We're hoping to just offer a little hope and a little point of connection each morning, at least for this week and probably next week also. And we are sending you love. We are sending you peace. Our inboxes are open. Our comment sections are open, and we want to know how to support. I love to pray for people. I'm super happy to pray for anyone who ever asks me to. It's a very, I take that very seriously, and I consider it a privilege and an honor to pray for you if you need encouragement in some specific way, or you're struggling with anxiety in this time, or whatever it is. If you're happy to pray. All right. Peace. You're beloved, and we love you, and we're sending love and peace. Amen.